Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. Peter Barber here, professional singer and music producer, and I just got done doing my first time reaction and full analysis of Damocles by Sleep Token. No joke, this is my favorite Sleep Token song ever, and I get deep in the weeds about why that's the case. I seriously loved every single thing that they did with this song. So please stick around, watch me geek out and fall in love with this song and analyze it. Had a blast. It's first time reaction and analysis for Damocles. See you guys after.
Well, I've been waking up under blades, blue blossom days. If only Damocles would hit me back. No alabaster carvings or faces on a farthing would prevent my head from fading to black. And it feels like fall.
So we're in F sharp major, and what we're getting constantly when there's on the F sharp is we're getting an F sharp major 7. God, I can't play this tiny keyboard. That's why you're hearing a little bit of crunch and dissonance in those chords, but it really makes it beautiful. F sharp major 7s is a really gorgeous way to start this kind of piece, which again is, you know, something totally new as far as I've heard from Sleep Token. This is like a beautiful, like almost singer-songwriter ballad so far. The chords aren't super complicated, although I think F sharp major is a great choice instead of just F sharp. Vessel's vocals sounding absolutely wonderful as usual, and you know, right in the middle to upper middle of his voice, so we're not stretching anywhere. Just a very nice, simple, beautiful start to this song, and again, different from anything I've heard, as always.
Well, I've been waking up under blades, blue blossom days. If only Damocles.
There's that F sharp.
No alabaster carvings or faces on a farthing would prevent my head from fading to black. And it feels like falling into the sea from outer space in seconds to me.
Like his use of, he's being rather percussive on some of these words, as opposed to being fully legato singing, where kind of one vowel connects to the next vowel with just a short consonant in between. That's how we aim to sing an opera. Obviously, this is not that. It's a totally different genre. But sometimes when you're writing more lyrical songs, you really opt for that totally smooth connection from word to word. But Vessel's doing a little more punctuation and percussion on a lot of these words. Da 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 da, instead of da 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 da. So it's a little more, yeah, percussive and rhythmic and sort of jagged. But like, I think it works fine. It's actually really cool, and I'm sure there's a reason for it. But in this kind of really lyrical, ballady style song, I'm more inclined to expect the full legato, smooth, completely smooth line. So it almost gives like a little contrast to what's happening in the background.
Into the sea from outer space in seconds to me.
Space and seconds to me, instead of seconds to me, seconds to me. Both sound great. Obviously, it's just an artistic choice. One is like fully connected legato singing, and one is with the more kind of hitting each word a little more.
From outer space in seconds to me.
He did that thing with the E vowel in the last song, me, where it almost gets a little more. His throat clearly opens a little bit. Gola aperta, we call it in opera, open throat, and it creates a warmer sound. And his tongue is also pulling back just a little bit too, so it's creating like a little bit of an over-darkened kind of muffled sound just on that E vowel. I think he's saying me again, so the natural me vowel sounds like that, and his is like me. It's like a taller, like almost, with the tongue back and the larynx down a little bit. Big vocal nerd stuff, guys. Big. If you want vocal nerd stuff, you came to the right place. Listen to this. Me. as opposed to me. You guys can probably hear that through the mic, the kind of difference in brightness and difference in overtones and different in warmth in the sound.
From outer space in seconds to me, and I play this chord and days on repeat until they look like harmony.
Look like harmony with harmonies coming in the background. Very nice, Vessel. Very nice.
They look like
Nice touch. Do that. That's a really great tool for songwriting, and you hear artists do it all the time. The first thing that popped in my head actually was Olivia Rodrigo. I can't remember what song it is off her album Sour, but she says something about like she and her ex-boyfriend like laughing together, and then the harmonies are her in harmony going like ha 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 ha, like laughing. I love that kind of thing. It's just such a great little touch to, if people are paying attention, it's like, oh, that's great. Like, that's great. It just adds a little something. You can tell it was like a thoughtful addition to the piece.
until they look like harmony. When the river runs dry and the curtain is cold, how will I know if I can't see the bottom? Come up for air and choke on it all. No one else knows that I've got a problem. What if I can't get up and stand tall? What if the diamond days are all gone? And who will I be when the empire falls? Wake up alone and I'll be forgotten.
Who will I be when the empire falls? Wake up alone and I'll be forgotten. You guys know I focus primarily on music in the channel, but sometimes lyrics really pop out to me despite the limited bandwidth. I love the motion in this piano, first of all. I love the low piano chords. That's such a great substitute for like having a real bass instrument, like a bass guitar or a subwoofer or whatever, is just smashing super low notes on the piano, and you pretty much always have to do octaves, because if you do less than that, it sounds really muddy. But almost no matter how low you go, a full octave is going to sound pretty dope and super full, because the whole overtone series is really there in a piano, and it's awesome. I've been using it a lot in my own songwriting. Is like, one part of the verse, or we get to the first chorus, and instead of already bringing in like a subwoofer or another bass synth of some kind, boom, big grand piano, low notes. But the motion of the piano is beautiful. The chords are beautiful. I just really love this section. It's got like musical theater vibe to it, honestly. The motion in the piano and like kind of the chord progression, like an uplifting like musical theater piece.
Until they look like harmony. When the river runs dry and the curtain is cold, how will I know if I can't see the bottom? Come up for air and choke on it all. No one else knows that I've got a problem. What if I can't get up and stand tall? What if the diamond days are all gone? And who will I be when the empire falls? Wake up alone and I'll be forgotten.
You know what's interesting to me is his voice was actually operating in a higher part of his range in the first verse, or first section, which was much more chill musically. And now we're into this like much more kind of fast-paced, uplifting section, and he's actually singing like very much in his middle voice. And it feels like this would be a section that actually has more high notes, and he's going counterintuitive to what the music is doing in the background. He's like vocally going kind of against the grain, which is cool, and just an interesting choice. Also, the really subtle kick drums coming in underneath to lead us into the next section. Very, very subtle. Not like big kicks, but they do provide a pulse. There. Almost like a heartbeat. Guitar, yes, please.
Well, I know I should be touring. I know these chords are boring, but I can't always be killing the game.
God, I love this. I love this. And I know this is maybe on paper more like simple than what Sleep Token has done in the past. I was just talking about this I think my last analysis video, which might have been for Caramel, where I was like, it's awesome that the group's gotten so popular doing, quite frankly, such like new and kind of weird music as far as like the rhythms the meters they choose for the rhythms and the styles completely jumping one section to the next and the styles completely jumping one song to the next. You know, it's really amazing that so many people have vibed with that. I genuinely wouldn't have expected it, despite the great musicianship and despite the great songwriting and all that stuff. Now, this is a much more like typical sounding pop rock song. You know, it's got some elements of various genres, but very much mainstream genres. And it's just gorgeous. Like I'm actually wondering if the group is getting heat for this because it is such a more kind of standard sound to it than what you might get from most Sleep Token, but I'm all for it. I think it's really beautiful. You get a beautiful chord progression and good singing and, well recorded instruments and nice punchy drums. I mean, it's never going to go out of style. In my opinion, it's never going to go out of style. And so hats off to it. And what he did, he just said something funny in the lyrics, like kind of meta, kind of commenting on it, I think. Let me, because that's what made me think of it.
Well, I know I should be touring. I know these chords are boring, but I can't always be killing the game.
I know these chords are boring. Like, yeah, I know these chords are more simple than we usually do it. That's great.
No golden grand pianos or voices from the shadows will do anything but feel the same.
We'll do anything. Okay. No golden grand pianos or voices from the shadows. Okay. We'll do anything but feel the same? Is that them saying, like, we'll do anything but keep doing exactly what we've been doing? Like, we're going to keep you guys guessing, basically. That's great. Now, this is just like, yeah, we can write a song. We can write a song that sounds like more normal. We can do it, and we can make it sound good. That's great. This is great stuff.
We'll do anything but feel the same. It feels like falling into the deep from somewhere way up over the peaks. And I play this chord.
I mean, come on. Like, something about that consistent hi-hat during a chorus rules, and a big drum fill going into the second part of the chorus rules. Like, this is so good. I'm almost certain they're gonna get heat from some of their ride or die fan base, just because it is more like typical. So I don't even know how to describe it. It's just kind of like, you wouldn't hear this and be like, this is a crazy new weird genre from Sleep Token. You're like, no, this is just a good song. It's just a beautiful, good song. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. I'm all for it. I seriously love it.
From somewhere way
Consistent hi-hat. Ready for the drum fill?
and I play this
Nice.
days on repeat until the tape runs out on me. When the river runs dry and the curtain is cold, how will I know if I can't see the bottom? Come up for air and choke on it all. No one else knows that I've got a problem. What if
I think this is the same lyrics as before when I was talking about the musical theater piano motif, right? Except now we're very much in the hard rock metal world. Not so much vocally, but as far as guitars, drums, it sounds very much like that. So this is cool. So they're really building it out, right? It's the genres are shifting, but in a more kind of linear progression, you might say. So pop, singer-songwriter, ballady, maybe a little musical theater-y vibe in the piano, whatever. You can do those motifs in multiple genres. So it's not like only musical theater can make a piano part like this. But then it goes from there and it just builds up intensity and then drops into like rock, as opposed to going from like rock to jazz, like they did in whatever that other song was. The crazy one that I did analysis for a few weeks ago. Anyway, I love it. I'm all for it. So I'm about to go into rock mode. Also, this transition is cool. It's great. It's great stuff. It's just great stuff. I had something really great to say and I was blanking on it. Let me see if I remember. Hold on. Yes, it sounds like big anthem 90s like alternative rock. I'm just imagining like Mission to Mars or something. Like big. What we're missing is the big super high belty tenor vocals right now, but the background, both with how its instrumentation and its chord progression is like that vibe, like big uplifting powerful alternative rock song. But I want to hear Vessel gripping and ripping it up in his high range. That's the one element that's different from that genre. Oh my, yes. So we get this vocal and piano bridge section, and then all the drums come back in for the next part of it. So sick. Piano and voice. Beautiful. Oh, yes. No one else knows that I've got a problem. Oh, yes. And I also love the really light vocal layering happening in the background with the harmonies. Just like an angelic choir, probably all voiced by Vessel in the studio, multi-tracked, but it's just like an angelic choir feel. And then again, they cut out the big drums and they cut out the big guitars and they cut out the bass and then bring it back. So we're getting all this really nice contrast section to section. When the river runs dry and the curtain is cold, how will I know if I can't see the bottom? Come up for air and choke on it all. No one else knows that I've got a problem. There's those lyrics again. Yeah. Yes. Oh. Holy shit. The drums are going crazy. Yeah, and again, so it's like after this, again, this like anthemic alt rock where it's like after the final chorus moment you have, now we'll see what they do later, but it goes into a like post final chorus outro where it's usually not text. It's usually like, it's like belting on an ah or something. And that's what's happening here too. It's great stuff. You keep saying it. It's great stuff. Everyone's got the lighters. Right? Fucking drum fills, dude. Jesus. want to get, oh, shit. Oh, I keep missing it. Hold on. There it is. Yeah, they've been doing that for these music videos. It's my favorite Sleep Token song. Sorry, not sorry. I think it's absolutely glorious. And while it does sound more traditional and in line with certain genres that we're already familiar with, they made like a really interesting version of that. Like, there was so much contrast section to section. There was so much great stuff. And while the chords may not be as complicated as some they've chosen previously, the chords are great. These are great chords, and they weren't all super basic. Like they still had a lot of dissonance and crunch and interesting stuff. This is it. I really love this, and I'm not sitting here wondering why do they put a completely different genre in the middle of the song, or why they have 3 completely different genres. This is like one genre that progresses well and goes, and there's cool chords, and there's great vocals, and there's huge drum fills. It's fantastic. This is my favorite Sleep Token song. Absolutely love this one. Absolutely love this one. Okay, guys, hope you enjoyed. Hope you gained appreciation for this one. I certainly appreciate it a lot, and I admire this group so much, and I admire Vessel's songwriting so much. It's really, really cool, and it's really cool to hear them do something like this. Seriously. Like, this is more like a lot of the stuff I've heard so far is really cool for me to analyze and be like, what are they doing? Where is this song going? What meter is this? What chord is this? This one is like, in my opinion, a very interesting still, but at the same time, you can really sit back and you can really groove, and you can really pull out the lighter and just be there. So big fan. I think this is a really cool blend of all the interesting stuff they do with stuff that maybe most listeners are more familiar with. Okay, have you guys figured out that I'm a fan of this song yet? Okay, if you enjoyed, if you learned something, please consider supporting me on Patreon. That's the best way to do it ever. And also subscribe. A lot of people who watch these videos are not subscribed. It's free. It is totally free. It takes 2 seconds. Ready? 1, 2. Okay, now you're subscribed. Awesome. I'll see you guys in the next Sleep Token video. Bye-bye.